Hello viewers, I'm Dan Geltrude and welcome to Token Money Magnet, a special show on WION, World is One. I will be your host as we discuss tokenization. Tokenization is about allocating the value of an asset, kind of like splitting a pizza but with valuable assets. An example would be owning a $100 slice of a multi-million-dollar building.
What is tokenization? Tokenization divides physical or digital assets into smaller units called tokens, representing ownership, rights, or access to the asset. This process enhances security by encrypting and distributing data across multiple nodes, making hacking nearly impossible. Tokens enable efficient transactions, reducing reliance on intermediaries. Fractionalization allows investors to own portions of valuable assets, making them more accessible. Tokenization transforms real estate, fine art, luxury goods, and even renewable energy projects, and many other sectors by streamlining processes and increasing transparency.
This is not a futuristic concept. McKinsey & Company predicts tokenization could hit $2 trillion by the year 2030. And Deloitte says that over half of asset managers are already diving in. This isn't just talk, it's happening. So why does this matter? Because tokenization is rewriting investment history. It's a revolution, and you can be part of it. In this series, we'll cut through the jargon and get straight to the point. What's different about this show? We're not just talking about tokenization, we're making it happen with you in real time. You earn tokens as you watch and learn. Real rewards for your attention. How great is that? So it's time to flip the script. Why should streaming platforms be the only ones benefiting from your time? Scan the QR code and claim your share.
Welcome to the Token Money Magnet mobile app. Getting started is simple. This is your dashboard. Here you can explore a list of episodes from our groundbreaking series, Token Money Magnet. Click on View Tasks under any episode to see the tasks aligned with it. To claim tokens, you need to link your social media accounts like Twitter, X, and YouTube. You can now start completing tasks. For every task you complete, points will be automatically credited to your wallet. Curious to see who's leading the race? Head over to the leaderboard section. Simply click on Watch Episode to enjoy exclusive content. Scan the QR code to download the app now and claim your tokens.
To help us navigate this journey, we've invited some of the brightest minds in the field. Claire Aldergren, Global Head of Blockchain at Ernst & Young. Annalise Osborne, Chief Business Officer at Cadena and author of From Hoodies to Suits. And finally, Tim Draper, a legend from the venture capital world. He is the founder of Draper Associates, DFJ, and Draper University. So let's get started. Tim, to you first. How does tokenization bring transparency and trust to investments in real estate, commodities, or intellectual property?
Satoshi came up with Bitcoin, and when he did it, he created something called the blockchain that keeps perfect records of every transaction that goes back and forth on the blockchain. And so it made Bitcoin the most secure currency value system in the world, and it's a way of storing value. And what happened then was that people used that blockchain and said, oh, that's interesting. We can use the blockchain to keep track of anything. We can keep track of ownership in companies, in ownership in real estate, in a variety of different places. And there are real limitations for investors currently who want to buy real estate or invest in private stocks or buy land or whatever. there isn't an easy way to do that for most investors. So tokenization has allowed that to happen, and that's very exciting. And it has created a whole new world for investors, whole new possibilities. They can all buy a piece of the Burj Khalifa or the Golden Gate Bridge or the Eiffel Tower. And now with tokenization, they have a new avenue to make those investments. So this is the beginning of a major revolution. I think Bitcoin started something extraordinary, and I think we're going into a time when investors everywhere can participate in any kind of investment, and that's very exciting.
Thank you, Tim. It's really incredible where this is going. So, Claire, tokenization of traditional assets are generally easy to understand, but tokenization is touching assets like carbon credits. So, what common assets or daily activities do you see being transformed by tokenization next?
I think it's a great question. I mean, we're really seeing tokenization increase and increased interest across the board. We did a survey quite recently within EY Parthenon across 250 institutions, and already about 35% are allocating a portion of their portfolio to between 1% and 5% to digital assets, and they're looking to increase it. But our view is a wider perspective, and you think about the value of blockchain, and one of the things it's doing is it's removing the need for intermediaries, which is enabling you to transfer or distribute value directly to stakeholders much more efficiently. You have the opportunity to fractionalize, which is allowing greater participation. You have transparency, which means that you can take information and it's more accessible. It's easier to share.
Yeah, it sounds to me like the efficiency is just going to be incredible in this process. So, Annalise, let me ask you, having witnessed the transition from traditional finance to digital assets firsthand, how do you see tokenization evolving to unlock an entirely new opportunities beyond simple digitization of existing assets? I mean, what are the future possibilities here?
Sure, it's so fun to think about. If you think about, you could potentially invest in your favorite sports team, your favorite song or artist, your favorite video game. So I think the fractionalization really opens that up. Blockchain could help create communities. If you have Amazon stock, you benefit financially, but Amazon Prime, you're a super user. So if there was Amazon Prime with some sort of equity benefits, you could get feedback if you're Amazon from your super user. So I believe that really opens up opportunities forward outside of traditional structures. I also think if you look to the next generation, it's natively digital. If you look at millennials and Gen Z, and they're going to be expecting a lot more different types of investments and digital in nature. So I think this is definitely the future.
Well, something you just said there about being an owner of a professional sports team, now that really interests me because that's always been a dream of mine. So, I mean, geez, we're right there. So let me throw out a question for the group here. So we're seeing a transformation where traditional assets like commercial real estate, precious metals, IP rights, and agricultural commodities are being tokenized. Now, looking at these sectors, which one do you believe holds the greatest potential to revolutionize wealth building for the masses, and why do you believe that? So why don't we go back where you just left off?
Well, when I studied finance, it was portfolio allocation was 60-40 stocks and bonds. BlackRock came out with a report highlighting ultra high net worth, do 60-40 traditional assets and alternative assets. And we never had alternative possibilities to invest in alternative assets. And blockchain is really opening that up. So that could be private equity funds, it could be commercial real estate, it could be a number of the things that you mentioned, fine art, for example. And so that's where I think the real opportunity to be able to democratize investment through blockchain is really going to help out the masses.
So, Claire, what do you think?
So first of all, I think all of the ones that you mentioned have got potential to be quite transformative. It's also got to be easy too. And this is one of the most exciting things for me about seeing the Bitcoin ETFs and some of the other products that have come out in the last year or so, is that this is really about making it really easy for people to be able to participate in. You're lowering the perceived risk around it, and everybody's got a different risk tolerance. If you want to reach the masses, you've got to cover a much broader risk appetite. Mm-hmm. And so all of those things are going to matter.
Well, Claire, you said something that really is all about what we're doing here, and that's we need to make it easy and understandable.
Yes.
So, Tim, what do you think?
I think they're both right, and I think real estate will be a big opportunity for investors to participate in, venture capital, and some of those alternatives that we've never really thought of. It's great for the small investor. Anybody can get involved. You can. I've always wondered why the small investor has been excluded from private equity and venture capital and real estate. And now I think there's another opportunity for governments to say, hey, let's let them participate. And this is a good way to do it.
Now that we have a basic understanding of what tokenization is, let's get practical here. So, Annalise, I'm going to start with you. How do we actually get started here? It's kind of like when you're opening your first bank account, although in this particular case, we're in the digital world, right? It's a wallet. So could you walk us through those initial steps?
Sure. This is not investment advice. However,
noted.
Yeah. A wallet is easier to open than a bank account, which will really help out globally, I think, for a lot of the unbanked. I opened my first with Coinbase. There's custodial and non-custodial. Custodial, so Coinbase actually kind of keeps the wallet. They're regulated. They're US's largest. And it's interesting. It's a personal choice if you would like to have someone control, because there have been hacks of centralized exchanges. That's just to think about. That's why I would recommend using the larger ones. Non-custodial is if you have a thumb drive.
Great. So, Claire, tokenized assets are opening up incredible possibilities with their programmable features. How do these innovations drive efficiency, and what should people keep in mind when they're exploring these tokens across the different platforms?
A smart contract allows you to program complex business logic, and you can automate the execution all the way through to the payment. I think that the efficiency is there. We already know that can be enabled. What people need to know as well is that this is not something that needs to stand outside. It's super important that we're thinking about how, as we move into mainstream, this should be a part of your overall landscape. So we've really got to integrate through APIs. We need to be able to package it in very much the way that you would purchase any other enterprise solution within your landscape, and let it do its thing.
Tim, security is always a major concern when it comes to digital assets. So how do we protect these assets? Can wallets or private keys be insured to protect against loss or theft?
Well, yes, there are insurance companies that are doing that, but your tokens are more secure than your bank dollars or rupees. I guess this also goes to India. I think I have Bitcoin and I have dollars. My Bitcoin is more secure than my dollars are. For instance, in my business, venture capital, I could raise a fund completely in Bitcoin, invest it all in Bitcoin in companies, have all those companies pay their employees and suppliers all in Bitcoin, have taxes paid all in Bitcoin, and the whole thing would operate automatically on the blockchain. The governments who don't understand how powerful Bitcoin can be for them and how efficient it can create, efficient the economy can become with Bitcoin, the blockchain, and these tokens, they're missing out. They're gonna miss in a big way. So it's very exciting to see the President Trump and the new administration get behind it and get involved and say, hey, we're going to do something here because we want it to happen in the United States.
I think we should discuss debunking some myths related to tokenization. The first myth I would like to address is that tokens and cryptocurrencies are the same thing. So could you shed some light on what the differences are here between the two?
Yeah, you have to acknowledge, and I think part of it is Bitcoin came first. It was the first, in my view, use case of blockchain technology. And it's a really good one. Cryptocurrency is a really good use case for it, but it is just one use case. A real world asset is tokenizing something which is tangible in the real world. So you want to make it accessible to maybe fractionalize it, to maybe be able to make it a more liquid asset than it would historically be. So and the value is determined by that physical asset. So those are two incredibly different things.
So Annalise, many think that tokenized assets require deep technical knowledge to access and manage. So for the people who are hearing about this now for the first time, why does tokenization matter so much in today's world, and why should investors be looking at this?
I think the first big step is payments. I think payments are going to lay the foundation for rails for blockchain technology. Payments are, when I deposited a check, it took 5 days to cash. If I'm using stablecoin, I get it immediately. So it's easier to open a wallet than a bank account, as we said previously. But different companies, if you are paying stablecoin to different companies, you don't have cross-border transaction fees, you don't have currency risk fluctuation. So I think looking at how can we either make money or save money, I think blockchain technology has a number of benefits. Also creating different products. You save 150 basis points on debt, for example. If your fees are 300 basis points, you're cutting your fees in half. So, but from a retail perspective, I think it's going to be easier to set transacted money. I think it's going to be easier to borrow money. I think there's a lot of opportunities to benefit in things like we talked in the first installment about access to private equity funds or venture capital funds, which have all outperformed the S&P. So there's a lot of opportunities that this technology will bring.
Tim, some people think tokenization is just rebranding traditional finance, or assume it's all about decentralization. What's the truth behind these misconceptions?
Well, it is decentralization, and it is a powerful force there because it's because your tokens are secured in many different locations around the world because of that decentralization. I think you end up with better overall. It is just a more efficient system. It's a very exciting time, and it's almost as though we're having an anthropological leap forward. It's the equivalent of going from shells to gold, or gold to the promise of gold, or the promise of gold to the promise of a government. Now we actually have this promise of a system that is completely decentralized and open and transparent, and it keeps perfect records, and it allows everyone to participate in this world economy without all the friction that's been created by the various nation states. This is really an extraordinary time in our, human history, and I'm incredibly excited, not just about Bitcoin, but all the things that tokens can do, all the things that smart contracts can do, how efficient our world will become, and how wealthy our world will become because of it.
Yeah, it sounds to me like we're going to be experiencing what's like another industrial revolution, right? That people are going to be talking about for many years to come. And let me just follow up with a general question for everybody. And Tim, I'll start with you. Tokenization has no geographic borders. So what collaboration or international frameworks do you see developing that could standardize and enhance the global credibility of tokenized assets?
Well, they already have global credibility. They don't need governments to align or figure out whether they should accept them.
So, Claire, what do you think?
I think it's still evolving. I think that we're seeing almost daily at the moment big changes in regulatory policy. We can see an awful lot of really hard work that's going on at the moment between central banks and banks generally, and a lot of different authorities around the world that we're working with, and we're seeing working strongly to make sure that what they're implementing, yes, it's transparent, but it can have the impact that it's that they want it to have, and that it's regulated.
Annalise, what do you think?
I think blockchain makes things faster, cheaper, and more secure. I think legislators and regulators are working together with the industry to understand, because innovation is very difficult to regulate. You don't want to over-regulate, but you don't want to under-regulate and still protect investors. So I think the global scale of this, and I think all of the companies working together, is really helpful.
Thank you to our amazing guests for sharing their insights. For the first time ever, a television series goes beyond just watching. It's about participation and empowerment. We're bringing the concept of tokenization to life by showing you how to engage with and benefit from tokenized assets. Scan the QR code now to start your tokenization journey.
The platform transforms real-world assets into secure, blockchain-based digital assets. These tokens enable transparent, accessible, and compliant investments. This innovative approach unlocks liquidity, democratizes access, and enhances transparency for physical assets. This is the future of asset ownership, which will empower everyone to invest in real-world assets with confidence, ease, and an amazingly low starting point to jump on the wagon.
Today, we've explored tokenization basics, practical steps, and the myths behind the concept. You've taken a significant step into the future right here on live TV. But this is just the beginning. In our next episode, we'll dive even deeper into the future of finance, exploring groundbreaking innovations and new frontiers in digital asset trading. So what does the next era of tokenization look like, and how can you be part of it? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome to the Token Money Magnet mobile app. Getting started is simple. This is your dashboard. Here you can explore a list of episodes from our groundbreaking series, Token Money Magnet. Click on View Tasks under any episode to see the tasks aligned with it. To claim tokens, you need to link your social media accounts like Twitter, X, and YouTube. You can now start completing tasks. For every task you complete, points will be automatically credited to your wallet. Curious to see who's leading the race? Head over to the leaderboard section. Simply click on Watch Episode to enjoy exclusive content. Scan the QR code to download the app now and claim your tokens.